the Haste Club, episode 10 of RKLB Daily. My name's Liam. I am from the Hustle Brothers. We've got the founder of the Haste Club, Christopher Bell. And then we've brought on a special guest. I don't think he needs no introduction here. We have Jacob Keeton from the space investing community. Jacob, how are we getting on today?
Good, man. How you been?
Do you know what? It's been absolutely wild. I'll be dead honest with you. I was at work. I was getting pinged by Christopher left, right, and center. Francisco was messaging me up. It's been a bit of a wild day on X, hasn't it? There's a bit of drama looking about.
Just a little bit. Mom and Dad
Understatement.
Chris,
Mom and Dad are fighting. That's brilliant. I'm great. I'm home now. I can try and catch up with everybody. Crazy day. The markets were way up and way down and way up. And yeah, Mom and Dad were fighting. So that made the day very, very interesting. You guys know we normally do not, my whole thing is I don't like talking numbers and I do not talk politics. We're breaking all the rules. We've got Jacob on, as we know, is great with the numbers. And we're definitely going to talk some politics because you just can't ignore this stuff, man. It's just great. It's gold. It's not the normal politics stuff. And it's just too funny to ignore.
Yeah. So, guys, for any of you that don't know, I don't know how you wouldn't know. Elon Musk and Donald Trump are currently at war with each other. There's bickering going over X. It's getting very, very personal at the moment. I think what we'll do, we'll start off with everything about RKLB, and then we can sort of get into our thoughts on how it will change the whole market going forward, how it'll affect SpaceX, Tesla. I think we'll talk a bit of everything today. So I want to give you a bit of a backstory, guys. Donald Trump has... Do you know what? I'm going to bring it up on the screen. It'll be so much easier than for me to explain this. Chris, what have you seen that has been major today in the Elon versus Trump saga?
Well, I saw Francisco lose his blue check mark and him try to advertise for people for SpaceX to come over and join Rocket Lab. I saw that today. Man, I'm gonna be honest. I'm having a hard time taking a lot of this serious. It's whether you're a Trump fan or not, it's not unusual. It's not like brand new news to where you see these kind of things happen with people he gets involved with. It's seemed to be backfiring. I mean, what did Elon say? He mentioned he was going to decommission the Dragon space capsule. That's like being on a basketball court, not getting picked first, so you take your basketball and you go home. And maybe I shouldn't be laughing so much about it, but man, I've got to laugh. I'm not directly involved. I'm sure I'm going to be directly affected in some way, at least as far as my stock price. Especially if you're in Tesla, that thing plummeted today, right? I mean, what, down 10, 14% or something like that? I didn't look at the last numbers.
I know at one point it was down 17%, but that's I saw that at one point. I don't know if that's where it ended at, but
yeah, wow.
So it dropped today.
It ended 14% down. It's gone 2% post market. So
yeah,
can we see much more of a fall for Tesla? How far can we see it going? Do you know what? I am in the mindset that I want to start adding to my Tesla position, but do you know what? This could be like catching a falling knife because we don't know how far or how long this is going to go on for.
Yeah, and I got a question too, kind of based on that. Jacob, if you don't mind, buddy, obviously where there's going to be some areas to kind of, if you have a Tesla or something like that, where you can kind of hedge against that, protect yourself. But there's probably going to be some new opportunities in the market. And we saw both ASTS and Rocket Lab run up almost right after the Dragon capsule news. Is there any other companies or anything that you're looking at particular here?
No, I mean, I'll just say, like, so when that first a first like news thing that came out that Elon posted something, or Trump or Elon posted something about the contracts dropping, and it was like 11, well, my time 11:30, so like an hour and a half, 2 hours before market close, and it was funny. Like Rocket Lab spiked, AST spiked, Viasat spiked, Global Star spiked, Echo Star, whatever it's called, was already kind of up on the day. So I saw a bunch of them like kind of spike, and then some of them came back down. And then it was like AST kind of like, for multiple reasons, ran up through the day. And then it was the after hours one. It was right after close, like 20 minutes after that Elon said something about the Dragon capsule, decommissioning it, and that sent Rocket Labs like, not so much. I mean, share price went up some, but the volume was like 7.5 million shares traded after hours for Rocket Lab, which is like a third of the volume of the day almost. So I mean, I it's hard to tell like if it's like, is this gonna turn into like a continual thing, or are we just seeing like it's short-term volatility? But yeah, I mean, I think anything that's like competing with SpaceX in the, like, I mean, which is so much in all the space stocks, is going to have some knock-on effect to this. And then on the Tesla side, it's like a Rivian or a Lucid or something like that. Maybe they have some short-term run-ups in their stocks. I don't follow them, and I'm not a Tesla investor, so I don't have any skin in the game there. But I would think that like there's if it's short-term anti like, or competitive Elon companies, then you would think you'd see some short-term like price action on those other ones, like we saw with the space stocks today. But
yeah, no, that's smart. That's smart. I like that. That's smart.
Stealing some of that.
I kind of want to jump in and sort of ask. I think we spoke a little about it pre-stream, but do you think Trump can afford to completely exile Elon? Do you think the US can go forward without Elon, or do you think, look, it is going to be short-term volatility for the most part? Chris, what you've been playing with that one now.
I'm supposed to be serious here, aren't I? I'm sorry. This is really hard. It's just I'm reading back over some of the comments, and it's just hilarious.
I know.
I'm sorry. I should be more serious about this. It's hard. It's just, I mean, it's like two kids fighting over a toy. It's kind of ridiculous. There's a need for SpaceX, especially right now with the ISS. But I don't think any country needs one man. There's always another answer. There's always another path. There's always another way. And not to take anything away from Elon, but there are other companies out there. There are other options. Now they're a little bit longer off, and that might cause some short-term problems when it comes to the ISS. I'm sure he was not happy about the Jared Isaacman being taken away. I'm sure that had a lot to do with it as well. And it's only escalated, obviously. It's kind of crazy that, it's escalated to this point, but it has definitely escalated. And yeah, I have a hard time taking too much of it serious because I have kids, and I've watched kids sit there and fight for days and hours and days, and then 3 days later they're best friends again. So I don't really know what to take from it.
I feel like it was like retractable until Elon started posting the Epstein stuff.
Yeah.
Ooh. I was like, now he threw the gauntlet down. I mean, I don't know. If anybody was like following politics during the campaign cycle, though, that's not new information. Like, I don't know. I don't think it's new information. At least the rumor isn't new, anyways. But like,
exactly.
I just, yeah. But it's still, in fact, he took it there. It seems like he's escalating. At least that's what a lot of people are taking from that. But okay, let's play a game of like, all right, let's just take the path of, all right, this is absolutely parting of ways, and they are not coming back together, and it goes as far as Elon says he's going to start a third political party. Let's play that scenario out for a second. What does it look like in a year, or by the midterms, or by the next presidential election cycle, and what does that have to do with like how our what our investment's going to look like. That's the scenario where you probably are trying to look for some of those Tesla backed companies, their alternatives, right? Because at least as far in the space sector, the U.S. government / DoD is by far the largest customer across the board. It outstrips commercial. Maybe Starlink itself is starting to get there, but I'm sure they have tons of government money coming through that too. But so you have to think the biggest customer in space, how and to the extent that the decision making is done in the executive branch, that could send a lot of money not towards them. There's some stuff that no one else can do. There's no one else can reliably send astronauts up right now in the U.S. And there's no one else has got the cadence they have. So it's not like it's gonna turn around and be immediately nothing goes to SpaceX because they can't replace it. But new awards or stuff especially for satellite building in the defense sector, Golden Dome stuff. There's a lot of other people licking their chops upon the sidelines for this. At least that's my thought. But again, it's within 12 hours after the fight on Twitter, it's just you can say what if that way, and then how much do you want to give weight to it,
And the thing is, both Elon and Trump are renowned for butting heads with absolutely everyone. It wouldn't surprise me in, say, the midterm that it all just gets smoothed over the paddy again. Is it a bit like the Trump-China thing, and we'll sort of see it fizzle out over time? In 6 months' time, as you said pre-stream, in 6 months' time, will we have all forgotten about this? Will it have just been a short-term squabble as such? I do agree with you. As soon as he brought Epstein into it, it got a bit, it's gone past politics and it's gone, I hate you sort of thing.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't laugh at this. It's just I can't help myself, man. It's just
never in my life
egos possible.
Never did I think on a investing channel I'd be talking about Epstein, bro. But
two of the most powerful men in the world are having a tantrum for the whole world to see right now. And if that's not funny, if you can't find the humor in that, man, you need a beer or something. I don't know. I'm sorry, but there's definitely some humor in there. And I'm sure there's, man, I can't see the chats, as you guys know, but if we're missing anything in the chats about this, especially if it's Francisco, because man, he had me spit my beer out earlier. He has been on fire today. His comment, he is having so much fun. He's gonna get so far kicked off of X, and he just got back on. It's been great.
My guy, Francisco, if you want to call in now, feel free. I'll send you the link if you want. It's completely up to you. Olga's here again. What's up, guys? Interesting day today. My God, Olga. Do you know what? I don't know how I didn't see it. Not gonna lie, I wasn't really looking at my phone, but oh my God, I thought there was something wrong when Christopher was belling me, and I was like, then Francisco was hitting me up, and I was like, what have I missed? And I think the way Francisco words it was like the big news today, and I was like, what's going on? And then I just had to open X, and everyone was talking about it. Mockbox, how are we getting on, buddy? Jacob,
Mockbox jumped in. He had some great insight on the Mynaric acquisition, and we're going to get into that a little bit later. It's one of the reasons why we have Jacob on today. As you know, guys, I'm scared of the numbers. I just hate the numbers. It bores me. But when it comes to stuff like that, you turn to people like Jacob and people that you trust in the community, and he's great. He's really great at it. And that's who I turn to a lot if I'm having a problem. And thanks again, Motbox, for dropping that today on X. Love it, bro. Always.
Yeah, I was gonna say Motbox and Stamo run the Discord, the Rocket Lab Research and Discussion Discord. I think you guys are in it, or at least viewer. I don't know. Anyways, they run that one, and that's where I steal all my great ideas from. So yeah, it's probably been discussed there first. Yeah, it's kind of like the brain trust over there. Trans in there. Some other guys like yeah, it's a good spot. It's just an easier platform to like kind of have pre-discussions, and then yeah. So if there's something I bring up today, most likely I'm stealing it from somebody else. That's where I get all my info from. I just one thing I'm good at is looking at pictures and finding out where in the world that is.
We love the honesty, brother.
That's my contributions. Pictures.
Love
Francisco,
it. Love it.
hey guys. B Mazzy, Brannon, King Bembo here. Francisco Ramirez is down even more after hours. I think we're talking about Tesla, yeah, for sure. Francisco, but also went down a lot yesterday. Brett Krieger, how are we getting on, brother? Good to have you here. Do you know what? Hey, Chris, you're gonna love it. X comments are finally working. I got it working, brother.
Hey, we're getting a little bit better every day. And again, thanks a lot, you guys, in the comments. I have asked a few technical questions, and you guys have been very, very helpful. So thank you for that. We're still learning, you know. I'm trying not to take it too serious, but apparently I'm supposed to. I'll try harder tomorrow.
No beer runs today, brother. Francisco, Global Star 2, Rocket Lab approaching $28. And what we'll do, we'll actually bring it up. So Tesla at the moment, down 1.42% after hours. But yeah, we had a cracker of a day, minus 14%. What we over the 5 days, down 20. Looking at Rocket Lab, we are steaming ahead after hours, boys. 6.5%.
Jeez, wow.
And that like big jump was right when he mentioned when Elon put out the decommissioning the Dragon capsule.
The Dragon.
Because you can see where it spiked right around on your screen at 3 p.m. on your time. I think that says 3. Yeah, that's where that first big spike of like drama was happening, I think. It was right like an hour before close. A little over, and that like it shot up the volume. That initially the price shot up, and then it kind of worked itself back down. And then after hours is when it like, I mean, there was a huge volume after hours too.
Awesome.
Absolutely insane. Are we in for a massive run, guys? Please let me know. Olga, I hate the drama, but today's drama has been a great impact for us, Rocket Lab. And that's the thing, we really don't like to talk politics. And I'm going to be dead honest with you guys. I'm not from the US. So really, I should have no opinion on this. But you know, between the two, I'd say one of the most famous people in the world, between two of them, my God, guys, even over here, it is massive, massive news. Francisco, no way, this just keeps going and going. Tesla is going to keep going down. How do you call in? Francisco, this is going to be a debut from the big man himself. Guys, I'm going to let you two have a chat between yourselves, and I'm going to have a chat with Francisco here on X.
All right, sounds good.
That's awesome. Let's do it. Hey, while we have a few, and we're going to fill in a little bit here. We got a minute or two.
Liam, you're sharing your screen still if you don't want to have that chat show up on the screen. It's up to you.
You saved me there, brother.
Yeah, you know, I don't know
what a lot of numbers are in it.
I don't know what your DMs look like. We don't need to advertise that. All right, sorry, Chris, keep going.
No, I was just gonna say while he's taking a brief break here and bringing Francisco on, and while I have you, and again back to what Mott posted today, we're seeing a lot more potential. I'll be honest with you. When we got the Mynaric, or we had the potential for acquiring Mynaric, I did not really do a lot of due diligence into it. I've been behind on some of my research, and when Francisco disappears for a week or two, there goes all my cheat sheets. So I wanted to just kind of get and kind of pick your brain a little bit while we had a minute or two here, and just get your thoughts on what he had posted, and outside of what happened with Trump and that today, this kind of adds more possibilities for Rocket Lab. But just ignoring all that, just looking at that information, what do you think about that?
Yeah, so everybody doesn't know, and you can find Mott's tweet on this. Mynaric put out a press release today because they're still technically right now their own company. We don't. I mean, we have a a bid on them, but it's not like a done deal, and right now it's non-binding, right? So doesn't mean we're not going to get that, but point being is they're still operating as their own company, and so they put out a press release, basically like tooting their own horn for getting the production back in line, and mentioned that they had delivered over 100 of their Condor MK3s, Mark 3s, which is the laser comm terminals that are used in all the SDA Tranche 1s satellites. And they've got 150 of them, of the optical pieces are in production to date, and they've already delivered and received revenue for 100 of them. And in a way, the tweet sounds to me like it says like they finished those 100 this year, because at the beginning of the year they put out another press release saying that this one at the beginning of the year they put a press release like January 3rd saying that they there was a key supplier issue. So basically, sorry, too many numbers. It's good. It's showing they're making revenue. This is good for us. This is not nothing. This is hurting us. We want them to fulfill the contract obligations, because we want to take on all that business when we actually finish the acquisition. So good news overall. And
correct me if I'm wrong here, but I do believe that based on a lot of different European laws and regulations, you have to have if you're a commercial company, you have to have a ownership in a company or have some sort of base in a European country before they even allow you to branch out and work with other European countries. Is that something familiar to you? I'm pretty sure that's factual right there.
I don't know if that's for every business everywhere, but I know like ESA, they put money, like European Space Agency, like will put money back into European companies and stuff like that. Maybe right. You're the Liam. You're a European.
Go for it.
I'm putting here. I'm guessing here, so I have to look up some of this stuff. But I know in like Germany they it's not. I mean, so Mynaric already has a U.S. branch or U.S. like entity, and sorry, Chris, I don't know. I don't think there's a flat out like they can't do business outside of the country unless they're doing business inside the country. But I don't know.
Jacob, that's actually one of the that's one of the very few times I've ever asked you a question and you didn't bring me like 10 receipts. So I'm very proud of myself right now.
I'm gonna got me and all.
I'm gonna make Liam answer because he's over there.
Germany, where's that?
Exactly. What happened to Francisco?
Yeah, Francisco's joining from his PC. He'll be with us any minute now. What I'm going to do?
Oh, great.
Jump back to the chat here. So we have Francisco again. Mockbox is the man. Yes, Mynaric news was big news. Mockbox, let's connect on X. If you ever want to call in, please let me know and we can get you on.
Make sure you're following him too, guys. If you're not following him, you're missing out. You really are. The guys, I don't know. Some of you guys are like machines. I don't think you sleep. I'll wake up at 4 a.m. and it's like you're all awake, and I'm like, "How did you beat me to it?" I don't even try sometimes. It's like, I'll just repost what you posted because you already found it 3 hours ago. Definitely worth a follow, guys. Lots of great information from him for sure.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think he ever has done any sort. He likes to be, like he doesn't want to put any sort of like he told me before he doesn't want to do any sort of like voice or video. So I know that he's mentioned that before. But I mean, he's great to connect with. You can DM. I'm sure DM and stuff like that too. He's cool to talk with.
Oh yeah, he's great.
I've never heard his voice. As far as I'm concerned, he is a digital machine. He's AI. he is the white box. Yeah.
That would make a lot of sense. That's great.
And guys, I'm just going to cut in here quickly. Any of the VTOL guys that are following us right now, you need to follow Jacob Keeton on X. This man is an absolute genius when it comes to everything space related. If you're enjoying what you're seeing, you want to hear more from Jacob, they do a Spaces podcast, more or less, isn't it, on a Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Guys, just call into X, Look, it's pretty interactive. You can call in, share your thoughts. Doesn't matter how big you are in any sort of space stock, they'll always listen to your opinion. So make sure you're following Jacob Keeton. But anyway, we're going to go back to the comments again. Mockbox, thanks guys. Jacob's too kind, humble, absolutely integral part of the Discord. Jacob, you just seem to be just the VIP wherever you go, brother.
Oh man, I see. So I mean, if anybody doesn't know, like in February, I basically semi-retired, so I've gotten a lot more, bought a lot more online the last 4 months. So it's kind of allowed me to put in some effort in some of these spots, communities. And the Discord ones, just I don't know. I mean, I feel like I get way more out of it than I put into it, so it's fun.
But like you said earlier, like whether you got a mod box or it's not easy. We all know it's not easy to go live. It's not easy to hear our own voice. And so it's very understandable that not everybody wants to get on and do something like that. But it's nice to have people that are in the community that are willing to do the research, willing to, do all the work or whatever. But, it's always really good to give them the acknowledgement and the respect and say, hey, this is where we got the information from. Because to be honest, not any one of us could possibly keep up with everything that Rocket Lab has been doing. Just Rocket Lab, not including a Redwire or an ASTS. And we're all trying to cover a lot of what's going on. The space industry is ramping up very fast. And it's impossible to keep it all, keep up with everything. And if you are an investor, it's great to have these other outlets and these other people you can rely on for inside information, for research, whether you're a new investor or a long-time investor. Again, you mentioned Tran. Tran is amazing. If you guys don't follow Tran, I don't know everybody's X handle off the top of my head, but he's definitely another one to follow for sure.
Right, guys, I'm about to drop an absolute bomb. Guys, this man is an absolute genius when it comes to everything Rocket Lab. He doesn't only come on camera. He is one of Christopher's best mates. We're talking to him all the time. We have Francisco Ramirez himself.
Oh, this
Francisco,
is weird.
my guy. How are we getting on, brother?
Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you all loud and clear.
Well, this is funny. I never see myself in camera. I'm always like the guy behind the camera.
Yeah, no.
Looking good, Francisco.
This is very interesting. But yeah, man, I had to do it today. I'm like, I was having so much fun. I'm like, if I'm gonna do it, any day is gonna be today.
Oh my God, mate! What kind of day are we after having?
Man, I was having a blast with memes, like making memes and stuff. It was just freaking fun.
Do you still have your X account, or did they shut you down yet?
I have my X account. It's under review again. I don't know why, but whatever.
Somebody got mad at your pictures and reported your account.
No, but I did make a flyer. You seen the flyer? I made a flyer and posted it on my SpaceX page, like trying to hire some people for Rocket Lab.
Of course you did. Of course you did.
I totally did. I made a flyer.
I love it. Recruitment.
Yeah, I was recruiting people, man.
Francisco, where can you see this going in the short to medium term? Do you think we're going to get much more of a run up on Rocket Lab, or do you think it's just going to be short term volatility? Two of these guys are going to make up. We're not going to hear about it. And then, look, as Jacob said, within 6 months, everyone might forget about it. What are your thoughts on it?
Oh, man, I don't know, man. I think this is going to keep going for a little bit, at least a week or two. They're going to keep going back and forth. I can't wait for tomorrow. But I tell you what I did sell on my Tesla, man. When it was heading down, I'm like, did
you sell it? Yeah.
I did sold everything. Like when it was heading down, I'm like, I don't think I can take this. This is gonna go down.
Yeah.
And it's gonna go. I think it's gonna go lower. So like, no, I'm out of this one now. And I bought some Rocket Lab though. So here's my plan. I bought like 1,000 shares of Rocket Lab, and then I kept some money on the account. I think I'm just gonna go on vacation with some of that money.
Come visit me, brother. Be all good.
Come to Virginia, bro.
Yeah,
come to Virginia. We can go watch. Hey, they're launching the 360 Hawkeye soon out of Wallops. Come on up for that.
you're definitely going to Wallops at some point. Obviously, we got to do the Hates, and we have to do Neutron pretty soon here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Chris. Real question, quick. Have you heard anything about a launch coming out of Wallops the next week? We were having some discussion on the Discord about if it was a sounding rocket, if it was a Haste rocket, and I'm kind of now in the camp that's probably a sounding rocket. But you're closer, so I thought maybe if you heard something locally or not.
Yeah, actually, I should probably send you a link. I know Francisco has the site. I sent him and old Yanni Mac out there a few months ago. It does give a very detailed description of what's happening at Wallops. And this is going to be a sounding rocket. I believe it's the U.S. Navy. There is a Haste launch that is supposed to be for this month, along with the Electron launch that's scheduled for this month. But just a heads up, when I do send you the link, it's kind of weird because it'll actually show like a Neutron launch all the way out till December. Now, that doesn't mean that Rocket Lab has changed the launch date. All that site does is say basically there's a launch window for as late as December for Neutron. So don't pay too much attention to the actual dates, but it does kind of give you a line by line item of what's next up to come as far as what's coming out of Wallops. You know, whether it's a sounding rocket for the Navy, because they launch a lot of stuff out of Wallops. You know, Rocket Lab's new to Wallops, but it's not new to me. Me and my daughters, we've gone down to, you can even go as far as Virginia Beach and get on the beach and you can see the smaller rockets launching. So it's not unusual and it's easy to kind of get it mixed up. One thing, whenever I see the people on X and they post reports of a possible Haste launch coming out, it actually will tell you, you know, what, I guess to a degree, what they're shutting down. And we talked about this before. I am right in, you know, in an area where I see planes all around me right now. You know, coming and going around airports. There's military all around me, and then all of a sudden, there's no planes in the air. It just shuts down. I've shown this to Francisco live, or on, you know, on X, and he can attest to that. But the biggest thing is the Navy, the U.S. Navy. Whenever they do a Haste launch, well, any launch out of Wallops, they'll go out there and they shut down the waterways for a certain amount of a mile or two maybe. When it comes to a Haste launch, it's a lot bigger protection area, not just in the water but in the skies as well. So that's one thing to look at. If someone does post on X, they find some kind of document that says, "Hey, this is a possible Haste launch." Look at the actual cutoff area.
It's the NOTAMs.
Yeah,
NOTAMs.
Exactly.
And then, like, we're talking, like, if we talk the scenario that this goes on for a while, we talk the scenario that Elon does decommission Dragon. Could you see if Neutron is relatively successful, if they double down and do actually try to introduce the capital?
Oh man, you know something funny I just found out? The next capsule launch is gonna be June 10th, the same day the Electron is launching. I wonder if that's gonna happen.
Wait, that's for the private one, right? That's their inspiration.
That's the private one, yeah.
Inspiration, yeah.
Is it? Okay.
I know it's June 10th. Or the Axiom, yeah, it's for Axiom. You're right.
Okay, all right. I'm like, I think that will still go, but like, yeah, Peter Beck said before that like there's only like one real customer for human spaceflight right now. It's the International Space Station, and he says that, you know, there's 1.5.
He used to say 2, but then he said 1.5. I was laughing.
Well, and so maybe if we get like VAST up there or Voyager or something like that, when we get more like space stations up there with like or more reasons to send people up, I could see that happening. But I don't know. I don't feel like it's like this massive market that they're trying to put R&D resources into right away until, you know, it's going to be similar. I think it'll be similar to like a second mover thing, or I guess third mover in this case. Like they might do it, but they have to. It has to be like, can't do it for 1 or 2 launches. Like that's a lot of R&D. They don't have the, you know, free capital just plug in that way. Or like they would need it. Like they would need somebody to help basically pay them to learn, or if they do it like a partnership with somebody else that's like, you know, maybe they can fit a capsule on top of the Neutron or something like that. You guys were mentioning it earlier. So yeah.
And I wish the government will fund that because that's a lot of billions. They funded like SpaceX and Boeing for that.
Yeah, that was a big set of contracts. But
I forgot about that. I forgot completely about that. And you're right. Boring. And Blue Origin could also possibly come into the play when it comes to something like that as well. Even though Musk and Bezos are supposed to be good friends, but yeah, I forgot all about that. I need to look at that again. Thanks for that, guys.
And then we have Michael Anthony saying, why is shares higher in the after hours? Look, I just think it's to do with the absolute insanity going on across X. Just look at anywhere on X and you'll find it. Elon and Trump are just gone to war. I think people are jumping in, more or less trying to hedge their bets against Musk.
That big jump, if you're talking about the one that happened like 15 or 10 minutes after close, what was the comment from Elon saying like, "Oh, we're just going to start shutting down the Dragon program"?
Yeah,
I don't know, man. It's nuts. We'll see how far this goes. Right now, it just feels like like they're just both trying to.
I'm just so interested.
Who has a bigger one?
But, like,
yeah.
I just saw something where they said that Trump was going to hire Neutron to use their hippo fairings to go up and chop up Starlink satellites.
But within the first day, he's already shot and said about Epstein. So how far is he going to go?
Who was it? Ashley Vance put a tweet out saying like, I want to see the PP tapes before the end of the day. I'm just kidding. That's not exact, but it's still like I don't know, man. Like how, like he, like I think I don't know, man. If they keep picking at each other, they're going to keep picking at each other. But like, you already kind of didn't see Trump fully respond to the last set of them, so maybe that's it. Like I don't know where do you go? It's like neither one. If there's Trump hopefully has other things to do besides have a fight with Elon all day. I hope leading the damn being the president and all. So I think for petty comment wise, Elon just has a way more ability to play that game. But I don't know. I feel like it's gonna it would get old fast, right? Within like a week or two, if they're still fighting with each other, it just is like, okay, not next.
Not with Francisco. Not with Francisco around. He's out there trying to farm. He's trying to farm new employees and trying to steal people away from SpaceX. As long as Francisco's out there, this is not dying down.
Honestly, I thought it would have been a great idea for Rocket Lab to post that video, man, trying to recruit people. You never know, man. They've done it before where like other companies have failed like on a launch or something and they posted something about hiring like
people. You're right. You don't think we didn't steal some people away from Astra when they first went, they got in their trouble and they flew sideways.
Jesus Christ, Astra versus SpaceX. Like, my God.
True. Very true. Fair.
They could definitely get some off of this, but you got to think about like anybody who's working at SpaceX that they got to know already the type of they got to know what Elon's like, they got to know what Trump's like. I don't know. I don't know. I want to get in the hype train and be like, this is like some sort of sea change, but I'm not going to believe it until like I get more concrete things happening, because right now it's a lot of hot air, but we'll see.
Sure.
And then, do you think it's hot air that Elon has put out that Trump is going to drive America into a recession within the second half of this year? How much substance do you think that is, or do you think he's just trying to instill fear into people?
Dude, well, I mean that depends. Like the recession fear was already real, so it's not like he's like saying something that like no one's, but there aren't at least a significant portion of people out there like predicting it could happen. So if it does happen, he looks like he's the genius. But if it doesn't, it doesn't happen. So I don't know. Clearly, it doesn't matter who's in office. The people in power will keep spending money, And I think that Elon's unhappy about that, and maybe he's just now realizing that it was going to happen regardless who won. Like they're going to keep spending money, man.
Yeah, I tell people, man, like if you lose time like fighting for one side or the other, they're the same team, man. A lot of these people, they go into these budgets and they investing a lot of these companies before they pass any budget, and that's on both sides, Republicans and Democrats. So, I mean, you're losing your time if you really get too much into politics.
And then we got Midwest Cannabis. Welcome back, brother. You're here every single day. He's the 6th like. Guys, make sure to smash the like button if you love this lineup today. We have Jacob Keeton and we have Francisco Ramirez. Guys, if you want to see them back, make sure to show them some love. Make sure to jump in, follow them on X. Jacob has a live stream he participates in every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So make sure you're there for that.
Yeah, it's him and Brett Krieger and Space Investors. And man, they have on some amazing guests. They really do. Pan Man, he's on quite a bit. He's great when it comes to a lot of the analyticals. Great to follow. Soon they're actually going to have Ashley Vance on. I can't wait for that interview. Yeah, we're hoping to get him on here, but we're not going to talk space stuff. We're going to talk barbecue. He wants to talk about the Neutron launch party, so that's going to be a completely different type of interview.
He called out your barbecue in his interview with Sir Peter Peck. Like I was like, oh, hey. I know that about that barbecue.
Yeah. You guys are all supposed to be there, by the way. I know you're on the West Coast there, buddy.
Dude,
but
once I know the date, man, I'm gonna be there. I just need it like that. Yeah, I just don't know if because it's gonna be one of those things where we all set a date, everyone's getting tickets going out there, but it's like if it's a launch day, it's hard because they scrub or a week before they scrub and everybody already has tickets out there. So I almost feel like we need to pick a date and then just make it that
exactly
day, regardless if the actual launch is happening then or not.
Yeah, because think about this too. Beck also said at the same time in a different interview, I think it was with Matt and the guys, and he alluded to the fact that it might be easier, at least for him, if it was near the launch date, but it wasn't the actual launch date, and it was more of like an investors party, and where we could actually get on to Wallops and see more of the facilities. And as fun as a launch would be, and as great as it would be to be able to perfectly time that would be just as fun. I'm not going to lie, because I'm hoping to. I mean, I wanted to do that from day one. I want to get out there and get up close and personal. Maybe hug the rocket. Who doesn't want to hug the rocket?
You want to stroke the rocket?
Yeah, I want to stroke the rocket, man.
Not inappropriately.
No, not inappropriately. There might be kids. You got to be careful.
Yeah.
Oh man, I've watched too many interviews from Peter Beck, man.
I literally, all of them. So I mean, I agree, Chris. That would be a better thing, just have something set up where we all head out there and then have some sort of investor day meetup or fans of the meetup or something like that. If there was some way of coordinating with the company to get a tour or having maybe some of their somebody from their side to come chill, hang out with us at this barbecue event kind of thing, that would be awesome.
It probably would be more of a most Adam Spice actually even said this, because they were kind of talking about it, and Peter was just more I'm not really fun to hang out with. I'm not a party guy. And Adam Spice was I'm that guy. I'll come party. And
where's Frank? Right? We need Frank there too. Where's Frank?
Frank would be great.
Where's Frank, man? Frank.
Yes, definitely Frank too, man.
Well, we should show up. I'm about to get some of those glasses that Adam Spice got. Well, he definitely said that he'll come party with us.
Those glasses are on point. I do love it. And also coincidentally, so the people that I contacted originally about the Neutron launch party, the cottages, I'm sure you guys have seen them. I posted them on one of the pages. Great location. It's it doesn't even look like it's on the Atlantic coast. It looks like it's somewhere in the South Pacific. Beautiful cottages right on the river. Well, guess who they booked for? Rocket Lab. So when they first announced a September date, of course, I'm on the phone. I'm calling my contact, and they won't call me back. They're like, "Hey, Chris, yeah, we know about it. We'll have to get in touch with you." No contact, none. And I already knew it was going to be very difficult to get. There's not a lot of infrastructure on Wallops. There's not. It's not like the Virginia Beach coastline where you've got hotel after hotel after hotel. It's very sparse. Not a lot of restaurants, just not a lot of infrastructure. So
Top
the
to toe in the
idea,
bed.
yeah. I mean, you imagine there's going to be thousands, tens of thousands of people probably trying to get onto the island, get um, hotels, reservations, things of that nature, and it's just not set up for that. It really isn't. So
Jacob,
it might not just be a better idea to pick a date, like Jacob said, close to when the scheduled launch time is, but not exactly too close. And hey, look, we're getting to know some of these guys as retail investors, whether it's Peter Beck or it's an Ashley Vance, and not to use anyone's, not to take advantage of anyone, but we're gonna sit out, have a few drinks, have a barbecue or whatever, and it'd be great to get that chance to actually get up close and see some of the
Personal
facilities
connection
and
with.
see what they've done. Yeah, it'd be a lot of fun, man. Why not?
I think we should talk to Benz. Didn't I think Peter Beck even told Benz like, oh, set it up, and they were thinking about doing that. Just set it up before the launch because launch days everybody's gonna be busy, and I think they said they will help us get an area and even bring us in, so and get like a tour or something. So maybe we need to reach out to
Yeah.
Exactly.
somebody needs to talk to Benz. Jacob needs to do that. I think.
No, man, I am not. I cannot be the leader for that. It's just too. I cannot. I'm down to help, but I'm not. I don't want to be point man on that. Sorry, it's too much.
Nah,
That's too much pressure.
Hey,
I feel
hey,
like Chris is
I'm the
already
guy,
under pressure for his.
bro. I'm the guy that the second I see Peter Beck, I'm gonna try and sell him a water feature. That's me. That's the kind of person I am. So, so don't think for a second I won't ask Ashley Vance. I'd love to get him on here again. Just talk about the fun stuff and not even really talk about Rocket Lab. I want to know more. I've actually done 4 or 5 magazine articles, and I'm writing a book. So I would just like to get to know him on that level, as far as him as that kind of level, and not so much on the space side. But yeah, man. Either way, I think we're gonna have a lot of fun in the next year or two coming up. It won't be the only Neutron launch, so if we don't even make this one, it might be easier as they go on, in the future. But I do want to make it an annual thing. It doesn't have to be on the exact same date. It doesn't, like you said before, it doesn't have to actually be a launch. But it'd be fun just to have something where we can all get together as investors, sit back, relax, joke like we're doing right now, but do it all in person.
Yeah, for sure. Guys, what I'm going to do, I'm going to jump straight back to the comments just because they're starting to build up here. So we have ALLR give an update on phase 2 that has 2 upgrades since the news and has partnerships also. Mark Box at Michael can only assume connected to Elon tweeting immediately decommissioning Dragon. Tom Lotter, Rocket Lab. Look, it's absolutely insane. What are we doing right now? Still 6.16% up after hours. VAS, CNC. Highly doubt he'll decommission, but I bet the admin is shopping for replacement. Who will the replacement be? That's
Right.
Think Russia will help. Ooh. Not saying nothing.
That's
the world's a mad place,
You're trying to
replace
SpaceX. The only people that have a shot is the entire nation of China. Like that's the only people you got a shot with.
We I guess see like somebody did posted something, I don't remember who it was yesterday, like a graph that shows that if we didn't have SpaceX, China would already be like beating us by a lot, like double what we've been.
Launches. Yeah.
I don't
They're
remember
doing
who did that. Yeah.
They're doing a few.
It was probably you.
No. Somebody posted it.
I saw it too. I'm not sure who posted it, but I don't know if you shared it or not. But yeah, like they last year they did. It's all based off Jonathan McDowell's over launch information. If anybody has seen some of that stuff, but it's like they did like 100. China did like 130 something launches last year, and SpaceX did like 140 something. Like so, like and SpaceX did the. I mean, we only had 160 something launches as a country last year or something like that. So like SpaceX is doing the vast majority of them. And yeah, if we didn't have them, then we wouldn't be in the field of competition with China in space. So it's not a hate on SpaceX moment. Like there's no one that could do what they could do right now.
Yeah.
Like it's going to take time for anybody else to catch up, including Rocket Lab.
Trump is honestly stuck between a rock and a hard place now, because he can either
Can you see like
make
the
up
post
with
that
Elon or
Trying
China will outtake.
just posted something? Can you read it? Like
Trump did?
Tran.
Oh, Tran did?
Yeah, he
Tran,
this
did
guy
he?
is like the
You're
best.
talking
He
about
just did, like a few
the
minutes ago.
Senate
Yeah,
bill
yeah,
thing?
The one that
Oh.
that they said like $9 billion for fiscal 2025 for Mars. That's pretty interesting.
That's so that if
Wow.
it's from
Okay.
Senator Cruz, and it's their budget reconciliation text. So this was what the Senate and the U.S. Congress passed a law by the House and the Senate agreeing to the law and the president signing it. So this is what the House sent something to the Senate, and now the Senate has made tweaks, and this is what the Senate has made their tweaks on. So even if the Senate passes whatever this is, then this is not them passing it yet. This is just the text of it. They still have to send back to the House, and they still have to agree on it before it went to Trump. So that's what this is here. But it's more information. Sorry, that's all. I had read it earlier, but
Oh, you did? I mean, he just posted it like 18 minutes ago. I
was reading it during the stream. But
okay.
I can. Do you want me to point out that piece about the Mars?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a section in there where there's a line item for Mars telecommunications orbiter of 700 million. That was a piece of the Mars sample return, right? That's not part of it. That's not part of Escapade, isn't it?
I think that's what he's trying to say.
Yeah. This orbiter is dual use for both Mars sample return mission and the core samples. Yeah. So there is no Mars sample return, but they're putting in money in the budget for the orbital communicator piece of it. So it's still a satellite that Rocket Lab would. Well, I mean, if we got selected, but it was still a satellite that goes to Mars. So interesting. It's like maybe they aren't putting all their eggs in the SpaceX basket.
I think we're going to see more of that now too, as well. Not just with investors. Obviously we saw this spike up and people jumping ship and seeing the potential that they were for some reason blind to yesterday. But SpaceX does a lot for the U.S. as far as launches, and they get a lot of the revenue, not just from Starlink, but from those the Dragon capsule and supplying the ISS. It's like I said before, it's one person, and you're looking at an entire country. There's a lot of other options that are coming up, and there's other options out there besides SpaceX. Yes, they're leading the industry. They're beating China. China, obviously, I mean, you look at some of the stuff that China does, it's almost like they just wait for one of us to put something out and they just go and copy it. And they're doing a good job. You can't take it away from them. They're doing a good job. But at some point, whether they kiss and make up or not, we're going to have to figure something out when it comes to, what SpaceX is doing for the U.S. government.
Guys, I want to ask you, so we've talked about the different scenarios, but then I want to dive down. What are you doing with your own portfolios? Francisco, I'll start with you. I think you've more or less said what you've done today. You've sold Tesla.
Oh man. And
what
for
are you
some
doing?
reason, I thought I wanted to sell it last night for some reason after hours, because I saw the interview with Isaac, man. I'm like, oh, this is not going to be good, because I know Elon Musk and I know Trump. They are going to be talking about each other. I'm like, I'm so pissed I didn't do it yesterday, bro. But I sold that. I mean, I've been trading around this stuff. Like, I grabbed some hams when it went down. I actually grabbed some Palantir. Now they went down too. I mean, it was taking down too for some reason. I just grab some shares of that, but it's just more trades. Pretty much my big long plays is Rocket Lab. I do have some ASTS too.
Okay.
I do have ASTS. Not a big position like Jacob, but I do have maybe my third or fourth position is ASTS.
Yeah, but, we need to pump Rocket Lab to, I think, maybe high 50s, low 60s, and then I can retire because Francisco is going to go buy a villa, and I'll be his housemaid, but I ain't got to work no more. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man, it'll get there. I think now.
And then, Jacob, what are you going to do in your portfolio now?
Well, I think I'm like roughly, I don't know, I have to look at it right now. I think it's roughly 80-20 Rocket Lab ASTS. And then like, so this week, yesterday, I wrote some covered calls on after ASTS that shot up so much, and now those are underwater for tomorrow, but I'll roll those next week. So like, so my thing is I try to, make sure my shares are never touched, and I write covered calls on about a third to a half of those shares I have, and out of the money, and do weeklies on those, and that's how I earn an income. But yeah, so like, yeah, when we took a big tank in early April or like late March, early April, I had to sell off like a decent portion of my ASTS and a little bit of Rocket Lab, but I bought back everything that I had sold for Rocket Lab, and then most of what I had from ASTS sold. So I'm basically back to where I was stock, like ownership wise, at the beginning of the year. Maybe just a little bit less than I was, but my margin is much smaller now. So I'm not anywhere like close to getting a margin call like I was for a few weeks there.
Yeah, that was wasn't that Liberation Day, April 8th? I think it was,
Dude, that was the day.
That was crazy.
That was the day that I went and bought when Rock Lab touched like 15 is when I went and maxed myself on a margin and bought 8,000 more shares. Like I was like, this is not sitting down this low, and it paid off. So
great move.
So I swung trade, I guess, a good 5,000 of my shares in Rock Lab.
Wow, I only grabbed like 500, like at 16 and changed.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was like 15:30 or something like that when I bought, but I went heavy. I did it pre-market, like at 1 a.m. or something like that. My time. I was not the most intelligent trade ever, but it paid off well.
You got it like right at the bottom then, right?
Close to, yeah. I mean, it was that day is when it bottomed. So like, because I think it was the night before, or the weekend before, or something like that. Like. Like a Monday or Tuesday or something, and like I was like, this is it. Like it's not going lower than this, or I have to go back to work. So like I was like, if it tanks after this, I'm just going back to work.
But hey, bro, I
should have sold my Tesla then.
No, you guys are both doing great. You guys I mean, you talk about tops and bottoms, right? And Francisco knows this. This is not something, I've made public. I put it out there a lot, but I was buying Rocket Lab at SPAC when it first came out, and it ran up. I bought more, and then it dropped down to 4, and I was buying a lot of it. Like I was eating ramen noodles every day, buying a lot of it, and was doing great. And I did sell at 32. So bought at the bottom, a lot of it, sold at the top. Now I didn't do that because I knew anything. I just got lucky in some ways. The reason I sold was because as you guys know, I have a small business. Well, when you have a small business, you don't have an insurance plan. And I am having some health issues. So I was, and Francisco would tell you, I was forced to sell. It wasn't like I planned it out and I bought at the bottom and sold at the top. So when I hear people getting upset and like, man, I could have bought at this price, or I should have bought more at this price, I get it. We all get that FOMO. We all get that, oh man, I could have got more. But trust me when I say, looking as an outsider and, following you guys for the last 2 years or whatever, and seeing your trades and what you're doing, I'm learning a lot. And it's brilliant what you're doing. It's funny because I watch the analysts, I call them analysts, on MSNBC and the news or whatever. And they come out and they say, oh, yeah, well, Rocket Lab's going to go to 34 now. Well, where were you at a few months ago when you were saying Rocket Lab's going to fall to, back down to 11 or $8? I don't trust those guys. I trust you guys because you're in the trenches. You're actually putting your investments in. You're putting your money where your mouth is. So I guess all that's just to say thank you for, all you provide to the community, what you provide to me. It's amazing. It's amazing.
But I tell you, I saw a guy that he got really lucky. I think he was talking to the key on X, and the guy sold close to the top. This guy bought a house. I'm like, we all knew that the market was kind of like what they space called their frosty. We know it was pretty high for too long. So at that point, like I'm pissed. I took like 1,000, 2,000 shares. I mean, I took some and I bought them back. But I do think you should take some off the top when it runs like that high so quick. you have to take some profits, man, and secure some money. That's
We
what I
always
think.
say it. What goes up quickly comes down quickly.
Yeah,
Right?
100%.
Which is
100%.
why I'm looking at these run-ups like ASTS
Yeah.
today and yesterday, and then Rocket Lab. I mean, like it shot up last week really fast, right? It kind of like I don't know. It seems like if it spikes, it comes back down and it finds a little floor that's maybe hopefully a little bit higher than where it was at before. But it's not like I don't know. Maybe everyone's got traumatized after like our Q3 last year when it like ran up. It did come back down. That's just and everyone's like, it's never going down again. Yeah. No, I like people got burned on that one for sure. So I don't know. My thing is just the covered calls allows me to like take some of the profit while still holding on to the shares. But yeah, like if I was I don't know if I was over leveraged on something like that. I never hate everybody taking profit on stuff like that, especially when you get massive changes in the price quickly. So I don't know. There's been people who are cultish about it, but like I guess I don't know. I had trouble. My first sale of the stock for was in March, and so that was the first time I sold it.
Yeah, I do have problems
since
with
after
that.
the initial crash back in like early 2022 was when I had sold some then too, but. Yeah, it's been a long time since I sold anything. But once I did, I was like, okay, cool. I can keep my core position. I can rotate through this other stuff. But.
And then Dylan, one of the Huss brothers, has jumped in and said, this is shown to be a cover called market. Great job. Olga, this can be epic. I think Olga was talking about the barbecue.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The meetup, yeah.
Oh yeah,
Dylan,
definitely.
one of your other hosts for Hustle Brother hosts.
Yeah. So Dylan's one of my other hosts are Huss brothers, and then we have a third one. The OG would have been Reese. So Reese is currently off at the moment. He's doing a few eVTOL videos, but
and Dylan is close to me. Dylan is very close to me in Virginia. So we're me and Dylan. And I know you guys know Taz on in our space talks. I think he's in Maryland. There's a couple of us actually only a few hours away from each other, but it's almost the same exact distance to Wallops. So we're gonna all try and do possibly the Electron, the 360 Hawkeye, but we're definitely gonna be planning because again we're close. It's a lot easier to just go out there for a day or whatever and come back home than trying to organize a big party. But if any of you guys are ever in the area and you're able to catch an Electron launch, I'm only 4 hours away. It's a bit of a drive, I get it, but how often are you going to get a chance to actually watch a launch like that? I do have 2 spare bedrooms when my daughters aren't here. They're here a lot, but I got 2 spare bedrooms. People are always welcome. I'm right on the river, paddle boards, kayak.
Hammock open?
The hammock is always open.
Yeah, there we go.
The hammock is always open, bro.
So Liam, what are you doing with your portfolio?
What am I doing at the moment? So I'll be dead honest with you. I didn't see any of this happening today. It did make me very tempted when I first started reading it. I was like, do you know what? I need to get and load up on Tesla. But then at the same time, it's like, do I want to try and catch a falling knife? I really believe Tesla will start plummeting now. I'm at the stage now where I'm just trying to add a few shares of Rocket Lab every single day. I don't really care about the stock price at this level.
Right.
I honestly believe within the next 5 years or so, we're in for a nice run up. So look, I'm just trying to add a few. I'm nowhere near as big investors as you guys, but no, I'm just trying to add it as we're going along. Chris, Mr. 100% Rocket Lab portfolio. Are you still adding?
I can't right now. I want to. But as I said earlier, I'm having some health issues, so a lot of money just going out the door. And but let's just not get into that. But yes, I'm still 100% Rocket Lab. And again, Francisco can attest to this. That's the only thing I've been able to afford. And I bit off more than I can chew, but my daughter just graduated, and I wanted to give her more than just cash or whatever. So I bought her a big chunk of Rocket Lab, and I've decided that I'm going to give her a certain amount of money every month while she's in college for the next 4 years, and she has to invest a portion of that or a big portion of that. So I made a big commitment to her. But look, when you got kids, and then if you really care about your kids, you're not too worried about. And don't take this the wrong way, but as far as me personally, my portfolio is so that I can give my kids all the things I never have. So there's a good chance that I'm going to have to sell when I don't want to sell, and I'm not going to be able to buy when I want to buy. But it's different. Like, and Dylan can attest to this. We've seen Dylan's kid get on here, and sometimes, your kids just kind of, they take over, and they should, you become a parent. And if I didn't get I didn't get into investing until I was older. I was like 45. I'm 48 now. And so I had to learn everything the hard way, and I'm still learning, and thankfully for like guys like a Jacob and a Francisco, I've learned a lot in a very short amount of time. And that's why it's great to have those kind of people that you can, kind of rely on and go back to and get information from, because they do it freely. I mean, they don't charge anything. They just go out there and they just, put their information out there and share it all with everybody, which gives us a good advantage.
We can start.
No, not me. Not me.
I'm just playing, man. I would never.
We get the Wallops
That would be
out.
so stressful.
Well,
no
I've been
way,
kind of
man.
lucky too. I'm like Jacob. I'm retired. I retired from the Air Force last September. I was actually in the Air Force for 20 years, and that's what, like, I know how the government kind of works. And I mean, like, I've seen a lot of stuff from the inside, so that's why I'm able to see some of this stuff happening before they happen. But like,
that's why I get messages at 3 in the morning.
Stuff I gotta really be careful, because I do probably know people that went into the Space Force after that I know, and I'm just don't want to get anybody in trouble. Nobody's telling me anything, but I have to.
No, we talked about this because, as you know, Francisco, my son is in a different country, and I don't even know what he does, and if I did, I couldn't tell anybody. So it's an advantage to have people like that in our community that understand how these contracts works, whether it's with a DARPA or a DoD contract, and they're able to look in between the lines and see things that the everyday person, even if you're reading it right off of X, there's a lot of information that we're not getting because they're just not going to give it to us. And you have to have people like that that's been there before, that has the experience. And sometimes it sounds like conspiracy theories, and you guys all know me. I'm great at conspiracy theories, but be honest, I've gotten a lot of these crazy ideas from Francisco, and he'll tell you I love to run with it, and I throw a lot of stuff back at him. Sometimes I get information at 3 in the morning because he doesn't sleep, but it does help having someone with that kind of experience and being able to see and read in between the lines of what most people are going to miss out on as far as investing.
I mean, I look at everything. I go into everybody's websites, the Space Force, the SDA. I was able to cash the SDA contract way before everybody. I was trying to tell Vince and them, like, during the weekly, and I bought actually some options. I don't do options like you guys. I don't do that, but I bought some options because I saw that they hired the Air Force general, and I'm like, oh, and then I saw on the SDA website the contract, and then I could match that with what RKLB was saying at the time, and I'm like, oh, they got that contract. And I was right.
Francisco, stay in contact, brother.
Yeah.
Oh, bro, no, you caught hypersonics before I did, and we were already talking about Haste, and you saw it before I did, and we were talking about Haste every day. It's crazy how much time and due diligence you spend on what you just give out freely, and I really do, bro. Thank you. I mean, I'll just say it live right now. Thank you. And if you guys, everybody listening right now, I'm sure you're all following Francisco, but if you're not only does he just drop just buckets of information, he's hilarious. He's so funny.
To be honest, I just fall in love with RKLB, man. And then I read that book like twice. I think I read it twice when The Heavens Went on sale. I was in Italy, and I was there for like a month, and I was riding the train reading the book. And then I read it again when I got back. and it's just, I mean, I fall in love with the company. I mean, you have to read that book, and then you do some research on Peter Beck, and you're like, I don't see how you cannot just put all your money into that company. That's how I felt, and I got lucky. Most of my stocks are bought like around $3, $4, $5. Yeah.
Yeah. So you got, a lot of people heard. So I had heard about the company before they went public because of their small launcher. I was in I did an aerospace minor in college, and so some of the guys I went to college with are working at like Stoke or SpaceX or Blue Origin, like that bastards. They all got my dream job, but but you know, so like some of them like are working in the industry now, but that was like where we had first heard about Rocket Lab was because of they were like this unknown, you know, they made it to orbit. Like there was like I think there was a second private company to do that, or like they did it without like private, I don't know. They're definitely first ones on the southern hemisphere. It was like a big deal at the time. And so I learned about the company, but it was like back burner for like it was solid like a year and a half later, something like that. All of a sudden I see that them like there's rumor about the VaxCQ thing. And as soon as that first rumor came out is when I started buying. It like lined up when I sold my house in summer of 2022 or a little earlier than that. And that's when I started to buy that into them from there. But then later, like way later, I think it was almost like 9 months after his book came out was when I first read it. And it gave me like this huge whole other appreciation for like Peter Beck and his story. Because up to that point, it was like I was learning about him, but I still just had like Rocket Lab, the company was doing all these things until I learned like what, you know.
Can I ask you?
What's up? Sorry.
Since we actually have Francisco on, which is rare, and he's the guy that I've done all the literally over a year. We've invested in research on the entire Haste program, and we can't just ignore that. This is the Haste Club. But Jacob, while we have you on, where do you see and feel free to think, you know, a little bit outside the box, man, because that's what we do here. We're not going to hold you to it. You don't have to bring receipts. Just have fun with it. But where do you see the Haste program over the next 3 to 5 years?
Well, I mean, it's definitely going to ramp 2026, 2027. Like between all the contracts and stuff they've already even said they've been a part of. But I don't like. I mean, they've mentioned before like they think it could get as big as the you know, commercial launch Electron side of the business. But and don't hate me for this, but my mindset is Haste is a short term in sense of like less than 5 years kind of catalyst. And once the testing of a lot of this hypersonic technology is done, they're going to be done with the like majority of what the Haste program is. I think that it's going to be one of those like short term, less than 5 year ramp, but I don't think it's going to be like this continual business model they're going to have for 10, 15 years. I think it's going to be great in the next few years, but I don't know that the Haste program, in the sense of what it is now, they're not going to have the big government push for all of the hypersonic testings anymore. I think they're going to get the data they need, and they're going to build stuff off that, and then they'll have other ways of furthering the technology from there. But that's just my thought. I think it's going to be huge in the terms of our Electron like launches are going to a bigger and bigger portion of them will be in 26 and 2027, maybe 28 is when it will peak. But I don't think it'll be by 2030. I think it'll be way past its peak. That's just my thoughts, but who knows?
That's interesting. Very interesting. Good.
Too. I think it'll pick too. But do you had a chance to listen to the Kratos call?
I listened to their last 2 earnings calls.
Yeah, their CEO said that like the biggest earner is gonna be like hypersonics. So they are definitely putting a lot of money into that. So I'm with Jacob. I think it's gonna go really hard for the next 5 years, and then it's probably gonna plateau and just they're gonna keep testing stuff. I just don't think it's gonna be like at the beginning. So I agree with Jacob.
Yeah, I did listen to the call, and the first time I was listening to Kratos call, man, I had to go look up so much stuff afterwards because they have so many things in there, and specifically with Kratos with their hypersonic program, they have a lot in there that they're doing. Like, they're building their own engines for those sounding rockets. They're building other stuff for. I mean, he mentioned Boom, their supersonic, their airliner that they're building. They're building the engines for that. So Kratos is man. I can't like keep up with another company, so I'm unwilling to invest in them. But like they've just been knocking it out.
I've been on Kratos for a while. I told Chris to invest last year in it. I got in at 20 something.
It's good for you. I keep listening and like watching and hearing news from them, but yeah,
they just got to deal with Boeing, I think, to make engines for one of their jets or something.
And guys, what is your feeling on Flatterlight?
Oh man, that's
I know, Francisco.
That's gonna be the money maker, man. I was on top of that too, man. When I saw that Rocket delivered the Mars satellites, and they're delivering satellites, and they're not getting contracts. I'm like, these people are working on something behind the scenes. And sure enough, they were. When they like announced it, I was like, oh yeah, I knew it. I'm happy.
But yeah, I gotta say
that be the money maker. It's gonna be the money maker, man.
I got to give Francisco a public apology because he was sending me a lot of stuff, and I was just like, yeah, whatever. I don't have time to pay attention to that. And he's like, look, you're missing out. You're missing out. They're doing something. And for someone that does that much research and not to be able to put his finger right on it, and then when they announced it, I felt like I felt really dumb. I really did. You get humbled very quick around Francisco. He definitely brings the receipts. And I have not. I mean, it's sometimes you just make it too easy, guys. You really do. So you just take it for granted that you have all these links to go and look back into. Very exciting program. I mean, the sky's the limit with this thing, right?
Yeah. With the flat lights, like they're definitely gonna get contracts, and I think what happened to this is gonna help them out. I mean, everything.
So I got my tinfoil hat one with this one. Are you ready?
Okay, go for it.
So this is the one that I have no receipts for. I just I don't know. So EchoStar is like they need to utilize their spectrum that they have, right? They're basically sitting on a fat load of spectrum they haven't used, and it's the MMS spectrum, the stuff that like the flatellite would be well positioned to be used for, based on its size and stuff like that. And I'm convinced that there's negotiations with Rocket Lab right now. Maybe they're not ready to publicize anything, but I feel like there's negotiations for a LEO constellation for like 5G NTN near terrestrial network, and the EchoStar would be like a prime commercial partner with it. So that's my thoughts, and we'll see. I don't know. I got kind of nervous when they were like the FCC was kind of pressuring them, but now that's another thing, man. If Elon and Trump are really not friends anymore, then there's I feel like the company like EchoStar is not going to have that big FCC push to get their spectrum utilized. So maybe they have more time to work out something like a commercial partnership with Rocket Lab there.
Yeah, that'd be good.
To build their satellites. So.
That's actually quite brilliant. That's brilliant.
I don't know, man. I think I stole at least a portion of that from Tim X94.
Yes.
So.
Yes,
I guarantee that is not an original thought. I'm sure I'm piecing stuff from other people.
It makes a lot. It does make a lot of sense.
It makes a lot of sense. Posted something on that like way back, like maybe like last year. I don't know, months ago. Team was on that like a while back, and he mentioned a few companies. I'm gonna have to look that up.
It was EchoStar, and then the other big one he was looking at was
You have to look that up.
Well, there was a Globalstar one, but there's something else he looked up too. I can't remember either now. Maybe it's Viasat. The Viasat thing is interesting because there was a photo and there's a really blurry image of something in the background that shows it was of showing Rocket Lab's like reaction wheels sitting on like the crates of them there.
Yeah, I remember.
And there was the one spot in the back corner that was really blurry, and I swear to God it said Viasat on it. And I'm convinced. So I don't know if that was for like two little pieces, but there was like on the table there, or if that was like they're a major customer or something. But Viasat is a Rocket Lab customer. I'm convinced.
You might be right.
Okay, so we're starting to speculate here.
Yeah.
So we know.
Awesome.
Francisco. This
awesome.
came from. This came from
awesome.
Francisco's thoughts. But Jacob, what do you think about energy storage and Rocket Lab potentially having solar farms and supplying energy to either space to space or space to ground?
Yeah, the space to ground piece is hard. Like I did a big I've been like a passionate fanboy of space-based solar power, but there's some technical challenges there that aren't really pieced out yet. Actually, one of the co-founders of Robinhood is started I can't think of his name to save my life, but he started a space solar company, and it's really I mean it's really startup. It's pretty low, like they have no like heritage or anything like that, but they're taking a slightly different approach on the way to take the power and bring it back down to Earth. Now, so that's one thing, right? On orbit power, though, if they start getting more and more infrastructure up there, like you need more power to do stuff up there. So I mean, I don't know. Yeah, it seems like it's a possibility. I just don't. It's hard because you need a customer for it, right? So who out there is trying to build something that needs that much power up there? I don't see like. I think there are companies that are going to start doing it eventually, and so does that mean we just become this like a solar panel supplier for that, or do we get more involved and become like mission partners to it? Like, is Neutron the best way to launch that much material? Like, I mean, if Starship is actually working by then, is that a better option? I don't know. So it's definitely like I don't know. As we get more and more stuff into orbit and beyond orbit, like it's going to make sense to start having the power be up there, like or these satellites are just going to be massive. They're going to have to all carry a massive amount of like infrastructure and solar panels. Or you get maybe Isaacman was right and we're going to get some nuclear power stuff up there. I don't know. Sorry, I feel like I lost the question.
No, you're fine.
Space-based solar is cool.
I was thinking.
No, look, that's exactly what we do here, man. That's exactly what Haste Club's about, dude. We just run with it. Don't always need to bring the receipts. Let's have some fun and think outside the box.
That just brings a wild question.
But here's the thing. I sent them a link. I gotta send it to you, Jacob. I found a company that's trying to make solar for the moon. Like, and I think that's a great idea because look, like the Blue Ghost was only able to stay alive for 2 weeks. Like 2 to 4 weeks. But if you have something providing them power, now what? Now you can keep them up like pretty much forever.
Oh yeah, because it went through its dark phase, right? Like it was only because it gets too cold.
Yep.
So if you
get like a mirror or something up there,
that's what that company's trying to do. So I'm like, this is down to the future though. It's not gonna happen.
But look at their. All right, so we like to go back to the simplicity sometimes here because it's easy to overlook some of what Rocket Lab's already done and achieved. Now look at what they can do with Photon. They do have the capability, especially now they have the flylight system. Sorry, they do have the capability of storing energy in space using one or two of their larger Photon capsules. Maybe again, this is Haste Club. We think outside the box, but we got Jacob to fact check me and get Francisco thinking about it. Exactly. But again, there's a capability. It's not designed for that, no, and that was not the purpose for that, no. But can it be utilized for that? From what I've looked up, yes, and it wouldn't take a whole lot, especially with what Rocket Lab already does. We're just trying to get you guys to think outside the box a little bit and just all that crazy stuff is the fun stuff.
When you say store energy up there, what do you mean? Are you saying like store like it in batteries in orbit, or are you referring to like what? Sorry, what do you mean by store? Sorry.
All right, so no. Okay, so this is how we always get to the end of the show. We always just like think of like the fun, crazy, the random stuff. Exactly. So let's say, 10, 15 years from now, we've got, stations on the moon, and we're mining stuff and we're doing further, space explorations. We're going to have, we already have Capstone, which is just a test, but it's a test for a lot bigger picture. So let's say we have a few space stations up there, and then we're finally getting into more of the commercial side of space exploration. Again, 10, 15 years out from now, there's going to be a need for something similar to a power storage system or and excuse the simplicity of this, but almost like a gas station, even if it's like just basic like cryogenics. Again, this is how we usually end the show. We get just really crazy here and just think outside the box and get you guys just thinking about the most insane ideas. But yeah, I mean that's what we do, man. It's Haste Club. We just think crazy here. we've covered all the important stuff at least for the day. But
Now,
just
while we
random
talk
thought.
about Mynaric.
Oh,
while we have
yeah.
Jacob and Francisco here, I need to ask this question because I asked it yesterday. Yeah, this is completely unrelated to Rocket Lab. I got mad interested in the Europa Clipper mission.
I heard about this. Yeah.
Yeah. Guys, do you believe there's life outside of Earth?
I do.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
like everywhere in the whole universe.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
man, the universe is so
It's
big,
statistically, it's got to be somewhere. Do I think it's in our solar system? I don't know. But it's somewhere out there. That's a big damn universe, man. There's some like it's literally beyond measure. We can't. It's further than we can measure because light hasn't traveled that far yet. So yeah, probably somewhere statistically speaking.
Francisco's probably seen aliens.
No, man. I mean, to be honest, I don't. I don't know. But remember, I sent you an email, a message through X, Liam, because I told you that I put my name on that Europa satellite.
That is solid. Yeah. No, he actually sent me receipts.
Nice.
Wait
a minute, am I allowed to show it?
Yeah, sure. Like, NASA was just putting that out there, and you sign up to NASA, like, and I'm like, I had that email. I'm like, sure, let me send my name on. I'm like, that's it.
There we go. You genuinely has it.
Yeah.
That's
cool. But I believe that there's life, bro. That there's the universe is just too big. Like he said, the numbers like would tell you there's life.
Yeah,
right, guys.
My thing, I get, this is the part I get sad about almost, is that if you read like Three Body Problem, it's a science fiction book, but it does pretty good with the physics. The problem I have is like, fuck, if it's not in the Milky Way galaxy, we're never gonna meet the aliens. Unless they figure out some way to like warp space time. Even if they are the Milky Way, it'd be hard to find them. But if they're not in our galaxy, they might be out there, but we'll never know, kind of thing, which is sad.
But that's the thing.
That's what I get sad about.
I'm mad into Brian Cox, and he reckons that like if there was a civilization that was vast, surely they would have taken over like quite a few places in the Milky Way galaxy. We'd see them, we'd know they're there. So is it that life may be common, but yet civilizations are just rare? And
that's
guys,
what an alien would say.
know,
that's what an alien would say.
Paradox.
You might be an alien, Liam.
Fermi paradox, is that you're calling it that one? And then there's also the Great Filter. Yeah. So
yeah.
PDF space time.
Yeah,
everybody wants to get lost. They have a good one like last week on it.
Guys, if you want to talk everything space and you've really enjoyed Jacob here, Jacob participates in a space investment podcast every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Guys, you gotta make sure you follow that on the X. They're really interactive. You can react live to them as they're speaking. And look, you can request a call in. They're pretty open. They have numerous guests in, and they have Ashley Vance coming on very soon. Guys, you need to make sure you follow Francisco as well.
Quick question.
Francisco 5.
Yeah, 5. Somebody apparently like Tupac took over my original name.
Tupac?
No, really. If you put Francisco Space, that's who you see on the profile picture.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Did you get hacked?
Yeah.
Was it hacked? Yeah.
Yes, I don't know. I couldn't log in, and I got saying that they saw like somebody log in through a different device. I don't know. I just let it be for a while. I'm like, whatever. I got other things to do too. So I did some research and like was doing it while I was fixing it.
That's funny.
But anyway, guys.
But a question, like Jacob, did you talk about the Mynaric stuff today, or is that leaked?
Yeah,
we hit on it
mentioned
for
it
a
earlier,
brief.
their press release.
Yeah, man, that was great.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think
that,
go ahead.
Add some color, bro.
My opinion on that's bigger than what people think. And unfortunately that hit, and then right before we had the Trump and Elon thing going on, and I think that distracted a lot of people from looking into that news. But I mean, they're gonna supply everybody, man. Lockheed, North, everybody. And I was telling these guys like, all three Harrys tried to buy a portion of Mynaric like a few years back. I think 2022. They tried to buy like
Yes, yeah, exactly
7 or
right.
10% of the
Exactly
company.
right. They
So
sure did. They tried to buy into it. You're
but
right.
that didn't go through. So I'm like, everybody's gonna. I mean, I think everybody's gonna need Mynaric. So I think Peter Beck did a great move there at the right time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
we
we
those
did.
are Mynaric terminals on the bottom of the satellite, by the way.
Yeah.
Whenever they show the last earnings call, that's not where they're at. They're on the bottom of the satellite in the four corners. They're not at the top. Those are the whole thrusters, aka
the spectrum
engine.
Yeah, that's actually, we did touch on it for a brief second. We didn't have a lot of time to get into that. I think we should get a bit deeper into that, possibly tomorrow. We've got a few more guests coming on. Obviously, you guys, man, thank you. This is great. Got to have you guys back on sooner than later. I mean, sooner than later. I hope you enjoyed it. This is a lot more laid back. You know, just some guys just hanging out, talking, having some fun. Thanks so much for coming on.
Honestly, guys, the door is always open to you too. Whenever you want to call in, you're free to call in, whether we have a guest, no guest. Just call in. It's been a pleasure having the two of you on. Jacob, you're a man full of knowledge. You're always welcome here in Ireland. And Francisco, just stay in contact, brother. You are just a genius, mate.
Man,
my name's Liam. I am one of the Hustle Brothers here. We have Christopher Bell, the founder of Haste Club. You've seen Francisco Space, and we have Jacob Keeton. Guys, make sure to bang that subscribe button if you want to see these guys come back. And of course, make sure to hit like and follow all four of us. All right, guys, until tomorrow.
Thank you, Leon. I just wanted to say, man, this is harder than what people think, man. I never want to be on camera. And like,
dude, I keep staring at my face.
My brain is always going, man. So it's hard for me to get all my thoughts together too. It's like my brain is nonstop. That's when Chris tells you I send him messages sometimes at 1. It's because I'm up. My brain keeps going, but it's hard to put all the thoughts together when you're on live camera and talking to people. I don't know. This is weird. It's my first time.
You guys were brilliant.
But thanks,
you guys are brilliant.
to Hustle Brothers and Chris for doing this.
All right, guys.
Thanks,
until
guys.
tomorrow.